there, welcome to part 4 of Embracing Life as the Grand Adventure of Discovery of the Self. It's been a little while since I recorded the last part, and I'm actually really glad that it's worked out this way because so much has evolved and I've got a whole load more things to share with you than I would have done previously. Firstly, let me just say that this part I'm finding is actually the most difficult to record, and it's because it kind of sums up everything that we've spoken about in the previous parts, which, as you've probably noticed, is quite a vast subject area. And I've been sort of unsure how to tie it all together, how to finish up with everything that I want to say without this ending up in a 20-part series, you know. So there's a few things that I want to tell you first of all. In the previous part, we did the actual exercise of aligning the 3 centers to reach the 4th point of transcendence in order to enable us to leap out of any old dream that we happen to be in the moment into something completely new. Now, in that exercise, we had imagined the 4th point as being slightly above the head, just for the sake of the exercise, and I'd said that that's not technically correct. In this video, I want to tell you a little bit more about the technicalities, and I also want to tell you about where you can study more on the technicalities for anybody who'd like to do that, because I'm so excited about this. So first of all, that 4th point that we were talking about previously is actually the corpus callosum in the center of the head. The corpus callosum is a little known about point, and it's got an incredible mystical power that we haven't really heard about previously. This was originally spoken about by the great mystic and seer Almeen probably about 1.5 years ago now. And since then, she's gone on to expand on what it does and so on and so forth, and there have been many areas of exploration of this. Anyway, to cut a long story short, it turns out that the corpus callosum is actually this part in the brain that when it's fully activated, it actually enables us to develop that 3D triangle where we'd spoken about before, that the 3 sides of the triangle evolve into a 3D shape, and you come up with a 4th point, and it's that it is no longer flat, it's not on a flat disc of life anymore. It's actually a 3D virtual reality that we're able to manifest. I don't want to get too much into this now, except to say this. Basically, what we've looked at previously in terms of the techniques that I showed you in the last video is quite simplified. This whole subject matter of actually manifesting a 3D virtual reality fully consciously is quite complex. It's a broad subject matter. And although we looked at the basic techniques last time, there are many different variants and variations that are going to be very unique and personal to us, depending on what our unique personal journey has been. I'm saying personal, but what I mean by that is our unique journey, because ultimately nothing is really personal. Our unique journey, whatever that has been throughout the ages, is completely different to each of us. We've taken different paths, we've had different lessons, different life experiences, many different things have occurred for us, and all of these add many different layers of complexity that could mean it's not quite as simple for us as just doing a basic technique. There are lots and lots of layers that need to be worked through. There's the dealing with stagnant false emotions to begin with, traumatic and painful emotions, emotions of the old dreams. That's a whole science in and of itself. There's the dealing with belief systems. That's a whole other area in and of itself. There's the healing of the body. Healing of, most especially the Toltec healing system, which deals with healing of the joints of the body. We've got 13 portals that are the joints, and they're actually interdimensional portals. And every single one of these, the organs, every single one of them, all of the individual brain centers, basically everything within the physical body, the soul body as a whole nother subject, and then dealing with the spirit, dealing with the mind, dealing with the emotions, which are all completely interrelated, are whole broad subject areas, sciences and art forms in and of themselves. Essentially, this is not a simple matter. We looked at the simplicity within the complexity, but the whole subject itself of exiting the old dream of separation that we've lived in the cosmos is a vast subject area. I want to get on straight away and tell you a few things about where you can explore more of this. Now, as many of you know, I'm a student of the seer Almeen. I have been for a number of years now, and I work very closely alongside a number of other students of Almeen's. And very particularly, I work with a colleague and very dear friend, Anita Lucia, who for the last maybe 2 years, we have been exploring between us every single week how exactly we can bring some of these deeper concepts, both those that have come from Almeen and those we have developed ourselves as a result of study of Almeen's materials, so building on what Almeen has presented to us, we've looked at ways that we can actually bring this to those of you who will benefit from it. How can we present this? And we have in fact begun to prepare ourselves for launch of a new project that we are launching finally in February. It's been over a year in the making. It's called Adventures in Boundlessness. It is an online venture, and what we will be doing is week by week we will be sharing with you, those who will join us on this journey, our most intimate, in-depth, private conversations. We will actually be recording them and we will be sharing them via this platform, and from those the journey every week will be catalysed by those interactions that we have together, which always lead to greater discoveries. We will build on that with materials of a variety of different kinds: audio, visual, written, a whole bunch of different things, including audio meditations, and just basically whatever is needed week by week as we follow the unfolding journey at the cutting edge, again catalysed by our deep conversations. We have had so much benefit over the last couple of years exploring in this way together that we've realised, you know, this would benefit a lot of other people, and we want to bring that to you. So I'm going to share at the end of this video the link that you can go and register your interest in this project. As I said, it will be launching in February. And for those of you who wish to explore the deeper technicalities, you are very, very welcome to join us there. Now, back to just generally this subject, aside from that project. We said at the very start that we were looking at embracing life as the grand adventure of discovery of the self, meaning that we are able to embrace life in the knowing that every single thing that we encounter is an opportunity to discover our greater self, which is a vast, vast change from looking at it as finding opposition everywhere. It's a totally different ballgame. And we'd said in one of the previous videos that the vital piece that we've been missing for many ages of the cosmic experience that enables us to actually activate this perspective is the inner adventurer. We'd said that the inner adventurer is one of the 8 pieces of the inner family, or the sub-personalities, basically our internalized psyche, if you will, which also form the 8 massive cosmic directions which correspond to the 8 extraordinary meridians. Now, the sub-personalities in themselves is Almeen's original work. However, myself and Anita, and especially Anita with her work in the area of the meridians, have expanded on this to incredible depth and scope, and this is primarily the core of what we'll be sharing with you in this new project, is mastery of the sub-personalities for those who wish to explore that as the actual mechanism, or as the actual infrastructure in order to manifest a reality beyond compensation, which is something that I've spoken about a lot and mentioned quite a few times in the previous videos as well. It's a reality beyond the realm of opposites, if you will. Anyway, this inner adventurer was one of the pieces that was submerged during large cataclysms that happened in the cosmos over the ages. And we'd said that because it's been submerged, now that we have access to it again, which only happened recently, it's something that whose perspective we need to deliberately cultivate in order to make it really strong for us again. And the way that we do that is very much like a camera. I'm recording on my camera now, speaking to you, and my camera has a very wonderful lens that was actually given to me as a gift so that I could take nicer landscape photography. The previous lens that I had was fine, but when I went to take pictures of the beautiful landscape that's around me here, the lovely mountains, I live in the south of Ireland, in Kerry, I found this lens doesn't really capture the true beauty of what's there, you know? Each of the sub-personalities is like a lens. It's very much a good analogy to describe it. When we have the lens of the inner adventurer in place, it's like putting a lens on our camera that hasn't been there before. Without it, what life looks like is a long, long series of difficult experiences, difficult challenges, many things to overcome. A lot of us have had incredible trauma and just very, very challenging things to overcome, you know. And we're looking at this and it's like, oh my goodness, this story is quite sad or difficult or challenging or whatever the case may be. Then, when you have the lens of the inner adventurer, it's like putting a good lens on your camera. You look through it, and suddenly the landscape of your whole life and your whole cosmic existence changes to, oh my goodness, look at this grand adventure that I've been on the whole time. This experience was so that I could see the magic. This experience was so I could realize my vastness. This experience was so that I could realize how truly powerful I really am. Look how it all fits together as this massive, epic adventure that I've been on for ages and ages and ages. That's what the lens of the inner adventurer does. It changes everything. So from that description, can you see how important it is for us to have this? Without it, we're always going to have the sense that it is a never-ending journey of having to overcome difficult things. With it, it's a never-ending journey of adventurous discovery of the self in every single thing that we encounter and every single thing that we embark on. Imagine the difference. That is such an incredible thing to have. Now, the inner adventurer cannot be an isolated piece. It needs to work in the context of the rest of the inner family. You've got the 8 pieces. If we're talking about well and truly lifting ourselves beyond the old dreams that we have lived in as a whole into a completely different 3D virtual experience, where when we do that, what we are left with is the dynamic inner geometry of completely internalized space and time. In describing this, the wording that Almeen has used is that she'd said we become the bridge of no time and the bridge of no space. That is just such a beautiful description, and it essentially means that we become the bridge through which all of life can step into an existence of ultimate freedom from the static geometry of matrices that have held us for ages and ages, as we spoke about in previous videos. Imagine the potential of that, and we can imagine the potential of that. And it's something that we can well and truly begin to embody now. I promise you that. I'm experiencing it in my own life, and many others are as well. Now, in order to support us with this massive, massive task that we've got, although we won't look at it in that way, we'll look at it as a grand adventure. We have many incredible, powerful, powerful tools, all given to us directly by the hand of the Infinite from Almeen. We've got the runes of the Infinite Mother. These are new runes. They're not the same as the old runes that were used in older ages. They are a completely new body of runes that correspond to the 7 levels of perception, or the 7 chakra fields, which function as a unified whole. We've got many different yogas that release the dreams of the ages from the body. We've got fragrance alchemy, which has a similar purpose of healing the emotional body. We've got a whole different variety of tools, including Belvaspata angelic healing, and so many others, all designed to do the task of assisting us with clearing out these stubborn dreams from the body, the soul, the spirit, the mind, all of these different levels that we have carried throughout the ages. Many of these tools we'll be sharing with you in our new project. For anybody who would like to go and have a look at what we're doing and perhaps register your interest to join us for the journey, the link is www.adventuresinboundlessness.com. We would be so happy to have you along for the journey, but even if you don't wish to join us, please, if you have any questions at all about how you might go about exploring these areas for yourself, just let me know, and I'll be very happy to point you to materials of all means and different study areas that you can explore as the next step of releasing yourself from old dreams. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure to have you along as I've been recording this series. I very much hope to speak to you again soon. Thank you.